Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. So before we get into the performance part, we're just gonna talk a little bit about the piece. So some of you may know that this piece was composed by Francisco Tarrega, which is the most important composer and classical guitarist from late Romantic period. He was born in 1852. He was known as the father of classical guitar because he first introduced the use of footstool, and he also advocated using the A finger, which is not quite often to be used before his time, but he just wanted to improve and develop the equality of each finger. He and his teacher Julian August had made an evolution of today's guitar. They both use Antonio de Tolles, which many of luthiers today still using his bracing method. So let's just say that 100 years ago, Tarrega made a lot of important things on guitar, which is brought to us now today, including his compositions, very well known, such as Capriccio Alabe, Adelita, Grand Waltz, aka Nokia ringtone. And the piece that we're gonna play today too, Recuerdos de la Alhambra. So this piece was composed around 1900s. So his first sketch was a year before, so 1899. He composed this as a gift for his friend and also his student after they had visited Alhambra Palace. He did mention in his manuscript, he also had a message to the student, which is: to my distinguished disciple, Mrs. Conchita, your teacher and friend, Francisco Tarrega. He wrote it in Malaga, December 8, 1889. Since I cannot offer you a more valuable offering on your Saint's Day, except this poor poetic note, the impression that my soul felt before the great wonder of the Alhambra in Granada that we admired together. And also, originally, the title of this piece is not Recuerdos de Alhambra. This title had changed by American publisher. Originally, it was titled Improvisación e Granada Cantica Árabe, which indicates that this piece was a piece that Tarrega not really dedicated to. He just improvised that on the way back from Arabic countries. But it shows that even if he not really dedicated to this piece, which he also mentioned in the manuscript, that he offered this poor poetic note, which is not true, which is like we still play his composition through over 100 years. Anyway, so he just improvised it and we just play it over 100 years, which just shows that his compositional skill is amazing. You guys can check out his compositions that I've mentioned, which is really beautiful, which just shows his characteristic is really cool, really charismatic, just like the piece that we are gonna play. So the technique that used through this piece is tremolo, which is really delicate and really detailed technique. Tremolo is a technique where you play melody, repeat it in the same string. The most common pattern is AMI, and we use P as a chord accompaniment, like a arpeggio, which we're gonna hear in a few minutes. And also, I've been studying tremolo technique for a while, and I have a video that shows what exercise that I use for my tremolo. Feel free to check it out. And another thing besides composer skill that make this piece so charismatic is the inspiration itself, which is the Palace Alhambra, located in Granada in Spain. It is one of the most famous monuments of Islamic architecture. It's the place that's been preserved really well, which we can still see today, that how beautiful, how detailed it is. So I feel like the mixture of Spanish and Arabic, it's the most beautiful combination, which you can see in the ornament, in the slurs, that Tarrega put in the piece, which is so delicate, and the tremolo itself, which require you to be really delicate of the piece and how you practice, how you vision it to be, because like in the Scotland book, he's mentioned that to master this technique, it's not about speed, it's just about the illusion that we show, that we can demonstrate to the audience that we are playing equally, we are playing in evenness of the sound, of the articulation. So I think that's why this piece is really charismatic, it's really beautiful, which a lot of people feel it. That's why this piece been played over 100 years. So let's see Tarrega's improvisation skill, and let's see how delicate and how beautiful of the melody of this piece, and how beautiful tremolo technique sound.